Matchweek 16 in the books. Brentford stun City and allow Arsenal to build their lead atop the Premier League. Tottenham and United leave it late, grab all 3 points each. Newcastle remain top four as Chelsea remain in their doldrums. Everything from the tricky trees winning ways to the sad state of Everton. This is the Premiership Perusal podcast.
Manchester City are still alive here. Balotelli, Aguero! Back, Fuchs. The ball in behind Damian Vardy! It's 11! It's heaven for Jamie Vardy!
You are an ostrich. Well, your head must be in the sand. Is your head in the sand? Are you flexible enough to get your head in the sand?
Now the fans are shouting every week, Louis van Gaal's army! Louis van Gaal's army!
Feet after a fabulous start, the game just got away from you there.
I have nothing to say.
Nothing to say about the game at all.
Drama from day one! This is the league we want to watch!
I'm Ronaldoing.
Yes. Is it match week 15 or 16?
Match week 16.
Okay, good. My notes said 15 for some reason. I think I just never got rid of the header in my notes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're wrong.
Well, no, I said 16, though, in the intro, and that's all that matters.
Yes.
I thought it was 16, and then I started second-guessing myself.
Got a nice match week 16 up here. Yeah, last match week before the big cup.
Yeah, the big Breakerooski.
The massive cup. The biggest cup. The World Cup.
I don't know.
Takes on Qatar.
You ever seen the Audi Cup?
Tottenham has. Selling DVDs.
Yeah.
Respect.
Let's get to Man City Brentford. Started off this week. I knew once this result happened, it was just going to be kind of a wonky, wacky week.
Yes.
You just knew all the games there'd be like 2 games that went chalk.
Mm-hmm.
To the lineups. Ederson, Stones, Cancelo, Laporte, Akanji, Gundogan, Rodri, De Bruyne, Haaland, Silva, Foden. For Brentford, Raya, Pinnock, me, Zanka, Henry, Jensen, Onyeka, Janelt, Roslev, Tony, and Mbuemo. We've seen this from Brentford before in all the games against the top 6 teams. They just throw 5 in midfield. And they say, hey.
Not a bad idea.
They say, hey, get past this.
Yes. Throw in lots of guys in the midfield, dropping into a back 5 when needed. Hit on the counter, long ball up.
Mm-hmm.
They're truly the hoofball team.
They are. They're Long Ball United. Long
They
Ball
sure
United.
are.
Long Ball United.
Couple early chances.
Yeah, Brentford. They're looking good. Some early chances. Ederson kind of had to come out and save the very first one, I think, like a few minutes in.
Yep.
And then right after that, Brentford with another great chance, but big save on Ivan Toney. You know, it was weird how Brentford were able to break so fast in this game past City. City just were not up for this at all. This is kind of how Brentford played against Chelsea too, where it's like it's very strange when they play this style where they have so many guys like that'll be back in defense but also going forward because they have so many guys in midfield. I don't know. It makes you wonder like how Brentford can't replicate this every week.
It seems to me like this strategy works pretty well against big teams that'll possess the ball quite a bit. But when you're playing against like Forest, I mean, it did ultimately end up working, but it didn't kind of work as well. You know, when you're playing against the smaller to mid-table teams, it just kind of turns into like hoofball, but the bad.
Yeah, because they're so far back, their depth isn't nearly as high as Man City's.
Yeah, you can't just get behind.
Yeah, but City kind of, as the first half went on, able to stretch Brentford a bit more, kind of pin Brentford in for a while, but, you know, ends up being 15 minutes in, Brentford grabbed the first goal.
Yeah.
A little long ball forward, little flicked on header by Ben Mee to Ivan Toney.
You know, I appreciate that they use pretty much every single chance to get the ball into the box. Even this long free kick, they just have David Raya hoof it up there, get it in the box, you know.
Send it in and make things happen. Anything can happen.
Make things happen. And it happened. Nice flick on by Ben Mee to Ivan Toney. 1-0 Brentford.
Yes. Then we had a bit of VAR review checking. There's a handball shout on Rico Henry, but not in the box, apparently.
It looked like it was over the line.
Yeah, it looked like that to me too, but apparently inconclusive, which I guess, you know what? If it's inconclusive, it's inconclusive.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to tell on those ones where exactly.
Man City right now they're very heavily looking for penalties. They're very, very sticking the leg out, kind of going down easy.
Penchester.
Wow. He just
You heard
did
it
to
here
him.
first.
Penchester United.
Penchester City.
Penchester United. That's my favorite team.
Too good.
Who was that? Neil Patrick Harris?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
referencing.
Yeah.
Where he's like, he's in a Man City kit and he goes, "Go Manchester United," or
Yeah.
whatever, or something like that.
Classic. Couple more appeals for City as Haaland goes down on the corner. Then De Bruyne goes down after running into the box. Penchester City. City really didn't create much from open play.
No. And I mean, Brentford were still showing how shaky Man City could be, even though they weren't scoring towards the end of the first half. They still had one or two occasions where they were on the brink of breaking out. It was just that final pass would let them down or something.
Yeah. City didn't get their first shot on target until the 40th minute. Foden made a run down the left-hand side, but the shot was straight at Raya. But then, just before halftime, City draw a level as the cross from the corner goes all the way through to Foden at the back post. Rips the shot past Raya. Not sure how Foden was open there, but...
Because it's Phil Foden.
No one wants to defend him and his terrible haircut.
Yeah.
Tough one to give away just
right before half.
halftime.
You think all the momentum's kind of zapped, 1-1.
Yeah.
Second half, Man City come out controlling the game. Definitely, I wouldn't say more conservative, but the openings weren't there for Brentford nearly as much.
Yeah.
I felt like their best chance of the second half was about 15 minutes in when Ilkay Gundogan had a really good chance.
Yeah, it seemed like City kind of woke up from their first half slumber. They kind of went Tottenham mode.
Yeah, a bit. I
second
still didn't feel like they looked all that great.
No. Rico Henry had a chance, but Laporte had a nice...
That was insane.
Or Henry's cross to Ivan Toney. Laporte made a vital tackle.
Sliding directly at net, somehow gets it over the bar.
Some chances for City through Rodri, and then Cancelo hitting a rocket from distance. Brentford just kind of absorbing pressure from City.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had a late chance from Ivan Toney, saved at the near post. And then real late.
Yeah, nice setup by Roslev on that one.
Real late, Phil Foden with the deflected chance goes just over. But then Brentford hit on the counterattack. De Silva gets a yard of space to get across to Toney. Taps it in for the winner.
Yeah, how about that?
Absolutely
City going
insanity.
for it. City going for it, and they get burned. Yeah, I felt like the Foden or Akanji chance had to kind of go in.
Yes.
And they were just like, it just wasn't going to go. For City on this day, they were just a bit off. They weren't up for it, and Brentford, they can get you.
Unsuspecting. When you downplay them, that's when they get you.
You were hating on them.
They've been in not the best of form, but they've been getting some results lately. So
I think they're just like completely different play style and stuff, but they're like last year's Villa, where it's just like they're gonna take the crown of consistently most inconsistent.
I'm not sure if I agree, but I
Who do you
respect your opinion.
Who do you think is most inconsistent
Most inconsistent.
of the teams? This award almost has to go to someone in like the mid to lower table, just because
Maybe like a Leicester or Leeds.
Leeds is probably a fair shout. I wouldn't say
Leicester's been
Leicester because
a bit
they were
more
shit and
consistent.
now they're just getting better.
Yeah.
I would say it's probably Leeds.
Although,
Yeah, Leeds. I'd say Leeds might be second. If you want to go, West Ham is in a way, but it's you kind of know they're just consistently sad.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it's Brentford, and then I would have Leeds second. Maybe Bournemouth, unfortunately, because they blow Leeds.
I just think of last year's Villa. They had some really high highs, and I don't think Brentford has quite achieved those so far this season. They've had some.
Well, they beat
wins,
Man
but-
U 4-0 at home, and then they just
Okay.
beat Man City.
Okay, yes, but like, all right, that's okay, touche.
And they've also got 5-1 by Newcastle and 4-0 by Villa.
All right, you're right.
This
I
team-
retract my statement.
This team, you might as well have like a dartboard, and they just Thomas Frank throws a dart at a result, and something happens. But no, I think you're right though. With Leeds is right there neck and neck because Leeds will beat Chelsea 3-0, and then they'll just turn around and they like can't complete a pass. That's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, as far as takeaway for this, Brentford keep up the good work against the top six. They always hang in there. I think the Arsenal game this year is the only game where they.
Yeah,
I'm
that
sure
game,
that- I'm
there
sure they
was, like,
played-
no interest whatsoever.
I'm sure that there was a game last year in their bad run that they had where they played a Big Six club, but I just don't remember it because they
Yeah.
were so bad. I blocked that out of my mind. Man City, tough way to go into the break, but I feel like a lot of their guys were probably thinking about World Cup on their mind anyways.
Yeah, I think so. It seemed like maybe they thought they could just kind of
Coast.
sleepwalk through this one,
Yeah.
but it's the Premier League.
Not to mention, I hate to say it, but maybe, especially since he's been popping out, but Holland maybe the slightest bit out of form only because he didn't play for a little bit, got to get back into it. But now it's like you have the World Cup break, so it's like, yeah.
I thought there was just like a complete lack of service to Holland for the most part in that game.
Yeah.
They didn't really give him much to work with, so
Yeah, shame on you, Kevin De Bruyne.
I felt like it's just a thing though that happens to City when they're chasing the game.
Yeah.
They're not used to being in that position, and it feels so forced. Especially, I
A
thought,
lot of times their attack feels a bit forced because it feels like Pep goes in the game like we're gonna utilize this guy specifically.
Yeah.
And it's like, why?
I thought one player that stuck out to me was Kevin De Bruyne. I thought he played pretty poorly.
Yeah.
He
given
just
his
was trying to
standard.
force things at the end and
Yeah.
was kind of giving away balls.
Let me tell you about poor Everton's defense. We got Bournemouth. We got Everton.
Everton maybe no longer club of the future,
No.
club of the past.
I did sell my stock. I just didn't say on the pod a couple weeks ago, and I may buy back in the future.
There's some real insider trading going on here.
To the lineups: Travers, Jack Stevens, Adam Smith, Marcos Senesi, Zwarma, a.k.a. Jordan Zumara, Lewis Cook, Jefferson Lerma, Marcus Tavernier, Phil Bill, Dom Solanke, Kiefer Moore. For Everton, Pickford, Tarkovsky, Patterson, Mikolenko, Cody, Onana, Iwobi, Gay, McNeil, Gray, and Maupay. How about that front three? Strike fear in your heart or what?
It's a real drop-off of quality. I mean,
Yeah.
the defense is solid, the midfield is solid, and then the front three is like, oof,
Yeah,
not good.
this is brutal.
And that showed.
Is this your favorite striker partnership in Premier League history?
Oh, I think it has to be. Big Dom and Kiefer Moore.
I think for the World Cup pod, we're gonna have to think about who else would be up there, because honestly, it hasn't been that many strike partnerships in a while.
Yeah, no one plays with two up front. really anymore.
Because they're cowards.
Yeah.
4-4-2, baby.
Just stick the tall lads up top.
Yeah.
Base Bournemouth.
For me, it's Jonathan Walters and Peter Crouch. Bournemouth, this one, honestly, I think the first chance really went to Maupay. Had a pretty good chance and skied it.
To the surprise of absolutely no one.
Yeah. This game was more open than I thought, was notes I had on this, too.
Yeah.
I figured this would be kind of lackluster. Teams going to, slowly going forward and stuff, but no.
Yeah,
not
it was
quite.
a pretty good energy.
Bournemouth really pouring the pressure on. And then we get a goal. Pickford with a save leads to a Marcus Tavernier tap in. Not great by Pickford. He didn't deem this one a big game, so he played poorly.
Yeah, it was kind of like he was like in between catching it and saving it, and he just kind of pushed it onto the ground, and it.
Right too.
Yeah, it was bad. Just to get all the English fans
worried
right before.
Well, because people were hating on Nick Pope because was that their last friendly? He had a rough game.
Yeah.
He conceded 4 to Germany or whatever, and the last one was like he dropped it right in front of Havertz. This is like a bad omen. It's going to come down to Ramsdale. They're going to play Ramsdale and be like, these two bums? No way. Ramsdale catches the ball, and then Ramsdale's going to drop it.
Ramsdale had a bad game against Hungary, so
I think that
they're just in trouble.
Yeah.
Too much pressure.
They're going to need Mark Travers to switch his nationality real quick.
Yes. They're going to need to throw in Tom Heaton.
Oh, yes. Experience in that. Just bring Rob Green back.
Rob Green from the commentator's booth.
Yep.
Just 7 minutes later, Bournemouth added a second goal. After Billings able to keep the ball in play, has a shot which is saved, and the rebound falls to Tavernier, crosses to Kiefer Moore, who just absolutely dunks.
That was wild. I have in all caps, mad scramble, and Moore dunks it for 2-0. 2 potential head injuries and no stoppage.
Can I get an and one?
Oh my gosh, he put Mr. Was it Mikolenko or was it Patterson?
I think it was Mikolenko.
He just absolutely.
Yeah, on the poster, soccer style.
Yeah. The way that was wild.
You love to see it. With absolutely no regard for
human life,
his own or anyone else's.
Yeah, Everton's defense this game, just so many giveaways. And then their wide defenders just in general were like just giving up all the space imaginable.
And they had pretty much nothing going forward.
There's a weird sequence where Tavernier like ran into Tarkovsky and the game was stopped and Bournemouth won a pen, but Everton wanted to know why it was stopped because they didn't stop for a head injury previously, and it was really weird.
Yeah. Just before halftime, another chance for Big Dom Solanke. From Jack Stevens' cutback, Solanke put it just wide. Goes in halftime.
Southampton bros.
2-0.
Southampton bros. Letting Jack Stevens go? I don't feel so good.
he's out here cooking Everton. Second half, Tavernier has a good chance saved, and then in the 70th minute, 3-0. Jadon Anthony scores from a set piece, completely unmarked. Shambolic defending from Everton.
Yeah, I mean, early in the second half, too, Solanke. It was. I thought it was Solanke, but it was Tavernier. Yeah, and then on the goal, I mean, that Everton's defense this game was so pathetic.
Yeah. McNeil had a chance at the other end just a minute after. Couldn't get a foot on the cross. And then Patterson's shot went over. Big Dom Solanke added a fourth, but it was ruled offside.
Yeah, that was rough.
That one ends 3-0 to the Cherries. What a massive win for Bournemouth.
I had a draw for Bournemouth. You had an Everton win.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
That was a whiff. That was a big old whiff.
Yeah. I was caught up in the Everton sauce that they were the club of the future for 2 weeks.
I was caught up in I was doubting Bournemouth after they kept blowing leads and stuff. And they're like,
I think defense.
Yeah, I was surprised because I think this is the first time Everton's defenses look like really, really bad this year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, they might have like one or two, lapses lately, but like this game was actually like Everton's defense with like Godfrey and Holgate, and you squint out there, it's still Tarkovsky and stuff. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, they played Bournemouth in the Carabao Cup midweek.
And they got wrecked too.
And they got wrecked, combined like 7-1.
Yeah, they got Braziled
Against Bournemouth, so...
Oh, Frank Lampard's kryptonite is the Vitality Stadium.
That's not the best, I will say. It's pretty brutal.
Bournemouth is simply the best.
Bournemouth is the best. We have recognized that.
Yeah, I mean, good momentum for Bournemouth going into the break. Everton, on the other hand, at least they have some time to reflect.
Yeah, I think the thing about this one was that Bournemouth, after they went up 2-0, they still kept trying to go forward.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to like park the bus and hold on to a 2-0 win. They're like...
Well, they saw how bad Everton's defense was this game, and they're like, we have no choice but to go for it.
We
have no choice.
Yeah. Everton, their attack is just so awful. I don't know. I was thinking to myself, why are we not making more fun of Neil Maupay?
He sucks. Well, he hasn't been playing that much.
Yeah, but
he does. He
more
sucks.
More so the fact that Everton needed a striker, and they decided the guy they should buy is Neil Maupay.
Yeah, well,
I mean, that is...
When in Rome.
That's unacceptable.
Yeah, they tried to do the Barca hijack on who's that random Italian team that was going to pay 15 mil for him, Salernitana, whatever team he was rumored to. And they're like, watch this.
Yeah.
They're like, yes, we secured Neil Maupay's signature. Amazing.
He'll really turn it around now.
Brentford willing to let the guy go. Brighton willing to let the guy go. When these smart teams just like let guys go, it's for a reason. Especially like it's not like they offered 30 mil for him or something. It was cheap. These teams just don't want bad players.
Yeah.
Smart teams don't anyways.
Moving on to the next match. Liverpool versus Southampton.
I'm convinced half these games didn't even truly happen.
It was all a fugue state.
It really was.
To the lineups, Liverpool, Alisson, Joe Gomez,
Alisson,
Van Dijk, Robertson, Alexander-Arnold, Fabinho, Thiago, Harvey Elliott, Firmino, Salah, Darwin Núñez, Bazunu, Chaleta Sarr,
yep,
Perot, Salisu, El Yunusi, Bottle of Ketchup, Bella Kotchap, James Ward-Prowse, Stuart Armstrong, Lavia, Adam Armstrong, and Che Adams.
Yeah, we have a first look at your guy Nathan Jones. The tough man. Yeah, the tough man for a team that's definitely a finesse team and not a shithouse grinded out team.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, they threw a nice foul out there, gave away a free kick around midfield, nothing too crazy. And then somehow Firmino gets a header flicked on and it goes in. I mean, that Bazunu, that's like League One tier keeping.
Yeah.
That went in. That was like the most inexcusable, like, how did that actually go in?
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happens.
That hurt my eyes, Bazunu, and really hurt my heart.
Brutal.
It made me think significantly less of you.
But you know what? Southampton got back on the board.
Yes, they did.
Che Adams.
How about that? Even before that, they had some chances going, but then they get their own free kick. James Ward-Prowse dimes up. Che McAdams heads it in 1-1. You know what I liked in this was the Bella Kotchap versus Darwin Núñez little matchup.
I think
they had
this
for a bit, but
might
then
have
they
been
switched.
Bella Kotchap's worst game.
It very well may have been, but he's still, him and Darwin Núñez going at it was great.
Getting the wind up going.
Yes.
Well, Southampton blew the level score line in the 21st minute. Can't clear their lines. Harvey Elliott plays a nice ball to who else other than Darwin Núñez.
There he was.
And he just passes it in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Darwin Núñez definitely won the battle between him and what's his name? Bottle of Ketchup.
Yeah.
Bottle of Ketchup when it was between them. He also won the matchup with Shaletta Shar, so
yeah.
congratulations.
Darwin Núñez, the type of guy who says, I don't put ketchup on my hot dogs.
And
just like some Dijon brown mustard.
Dijon. Yeah, I think right before half, another big chance for Liverpool. Counterattack leads to a big Bazunu save on Firmino. That was more likely he'd score from that than whatever that shitty little flicked on header was. But here we are. Did they score in the first half, that third one? They did.
Yes.
I thought it was on the other side.
Hank's in a fugue state.
I told you, I don't remember this game happening.
It happened. It was
Firmino.
It was pretty weird.
Yeah, Firmino to Robertson, and Robertson squares it. Darwin Núñez, little rip near post.
And at that point, the Darwin Núñez brace, I'm making a TikTok Darwin Núñez song because I used my free hit to put Darwin Núñez in the FPL lineup.
Wow.
What a genius.
Darwin Núñez, he came from Benfica to the Big Reds.
I may have also put in Holland and De Bruyne and captain Holland for 2 points.
Oh.
But we don't talk about that. We just talk about my wins, my W's, my dubs.
I rebuilt my team. I'll read it at the end of this because all the transfers are free now.
Yeah.
3-1, second half. Southampton wide attack, a lot better. The passing just really wasn't there, though, as you would expect from the worst passing team in the Premier League. Yeah, here's your guy, Bella Kochep, with an amazing, just horrendous giveaway. And then a perfect recovery slide tackle on Salah to win the ball off him on a one-on-one with the goalie.
Mm-hmm.
That pretty much sums up the Bella Kochep experience.
Yes.
Southampton attack, getting some chances. They had a real good one. I think it was it Lavia or who was it? Edozie?
Yeah, I mean, there was a number of saves that Alisson made that were just like, and classic Alisson bailing out Liverpool.
Yeah.
This could have been a different game. Southampton actually were looking pretty decent at times.
Yeah. Che McAdams, real good chance at the very end. I couldn't tell you anything Liverpool did with the ball in the second half. I don't remember, besides that solid chance.
Yeah.
Which is very concerning.
Pretty weird to be up 3-1 at halftime against a pretty poor Southampton team, and then you're just conceding like chance after chance.
I think 3-1 is like whatever scoreline should have happened. You could say like maybe 2-1 or 1-0 or something like that, but I don't know. 3-1 does not feel like the right scoreline for this game.
Yeah. I think Southampton definitely could have scored another that second half. Finishes full time. 3-1. Liverpool take all 3 points despite a little bit of a sketchy performance in the second half.
Liverpool, have they returned? Have they returned?
I'm going to go with no.
Have they returned? No, they're playing just like last year. Grind out games that are very questionable if they should win or not.
Yeah.
So, as far as Southampton, what do you see from Nathan Jones? He gets a month now to work with a good chunk of the guys to kind of see what he's got in him.
Well, I think most of the first half was pretty bad, but I was impressed that they were able to come out in the second half despite being down 3-1 and get some stuff going on in attack, because I really expected nothing. I expected them to just roll over and die in that second half, but they didn't. They made some nice subs. Edozie looked good, and I think there's some
hope. Yeah, you could tell if this was going to be Nathan Jones. I think they're just going down.
Yeah,
and this is like preparing for the championship. I think they'll have a bit of fight. You can never rule out Southampton just getting hot for no reason.
That's true. Happens every year.
Oh, yes.
Speaking of teams that are red hot, it's the Tricky Trees, Nottingham Forest.
As red hot as they can be. As red hot as this shit team can be. To the lineup, Sam.
To the lineups for Forest: Henderson, Worrell, Aurier, Willy Bolly, Lodi, Kuyate, Yates, Freuler, Morgan Gibbs White, Jay Lings, and Brennan Johnson.
Your boy Steve Cook on the bench this game.
Yeah, the disrespect to Mr. Steve Cook. For Palace, Guaita, Mitchell, Gahey, Anderson, Klein, Olise, Schlupp, Ducore, Ayu, Eze, Zaha.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This one was not the most
It was a
exciting
lot of
game.
Yeah, well, Palace in possession, not able to really go fast because Forest are just sitting back.
Yeah.
The
low block.
Of it, a lot of it was Palace trying to eventually, they'd work it wide and then they'd try to go middle once they were in the final attacking third. And credit Forest, they did a real good job of taking away that middle portion of the pitch.
Yep. Not a whole lot of chances in the first half. Lodi had a free kick go over the bar. Zaha, the big moment in the first half, receiving the ball in the box, turns and is pulled down by Joe Worrell, and a penalty is awarded. Wolf steps up and misses the penalty.
Wide. Just wide.
He didn't look very confident taking that penalty.
Yeah, it's because he had Dean Henderson in his ear. Who could ever be?
The capped man. Who was not wearing a cap.
I think the funniest thing and the most ridiculous thing about this game was that in the first half there's one added minute.
Oh, yeah, and there was like a bunch of stoppages.
There's injuries. There's the VAR review.
Yeah.
There's the actual pen. They added 1 minute.
Yeah, and then the commentators are like, what? What? 1 minute?
They're like, how is there not like 4? And then they put up the board and they're like, nope, yeah, it's 1 minute.
Oh, it's always so great when even the commentators can't help themselves but be like, what?
How did this happen?
I don't understand. Goes into halftime, 0-0. Second half, Nottingham Forest get their goal in the 54th minute. Morgan Gibbs White scores from the rebound of Brennan Johnson's shot, but he was ruled offside initially, and then
An overturn.
lengthy VAR review.
Yep.
It was weird because it really looked like he was offside.
Yeah.
But then they showed the freeze frame, and he was onside. But it's like,
Yeah.
it's
It was
like
an
a
optical
glitch in the
illusion.
Matrix or something.
It was an optical illusion. I thought he was on, though.
Yeah.
Much to the chagrin of Crystal Palace. Palace attack this half, especially after Forest got the lead, was almost non-existent in terms of productivity.
Yeah, really had nothing going. It was pretty disappointing, to be quite frank. Jay Lings had a chance. Curling shot went wide. And Palace, I mean, it was pretty tame last-ditch efforts, really.
Yeah, I mean, they made some subs, and it was like, I don't know. Like, they took off Etse. But they just threw the two strikers on, too, at one point. It was Ducore and Mateta were both on, but...
You mean Edward?
What did I say?
Ducore.
Yeah, they took... I meant they took off Ducore and put on
Yeah.
Edward for him. Because, go back to the lineup here real quick. I'm not sure you'd need Jordan Ayew pressing against Nottingham Forest.
No.
I don't think you do. No. You probably should have just went Mateta from the off. Big, strong, physical guy. Get in there with the likes of Willy Bolly and Joe Worrell.
Yeah, there's not really a focal point.
And have him as a hold-up man if you're trying to go through the middle of the field, which they were.
Yeah. I will say the one kind of bright spot for Palace was when they brought on Ebiowe, or however you pronounce his name. Ebiowe.
Yeah.
I thought he looked decent.
He looked fine, but I don't know.
Hank's not buying it.
Like Jeffrey Schlepp out there too. I don't know. The Vieira lineup I wasn't a fan of. Only because, and I'm sure, you might say, oh, well, if it worked out, you would have been. But it's like, Nottingham Forest are just going to forever sit back now.
Yeah. Those guys aren't really going to create anything.
No, you don't need to be overly cautious.
But you know what? Forest got 3 points.
Mad prop, Steve Cooper, Mr. Ugly.
Steve Cooper's back.
He's officially back.
The redemption arc.
It's over.
It's over.
He's back.
Lord Steve Cooper.
Oh, this game. This game definitely didn't happen.
This game upset me. It made me feel physically ill. I almost wanted to ask you if we could just not talk about this game, but I feel we have a responsibility to do so.
This game, just know, people, and it's not really a brag, but it truly is. But when Leeds scored their third goal in this game, I texted Sam live and said, they're going to lose, aren't they?
Yes.
And Sam said, off a corner, which didn't happen, but it might as well have.
It was a fair shout.
Yeah. The lineups, Lloris, Dyer, Davis, as Sam says, Longley, Højbjerg,
Yes.
Royale with cheese, Perisic, Betancourt, Richie Richarlison, your guy.
He's back.
Definitely not flop of the year. Harry Kane, Kulishevsky for Leeds. Melier, Koch, Cooper, Stroik, Christensen, Aronson, our guy. Roca, Somerville, my guy. Adams, your guy. Gianotto, our guy. Yonoto.
Nyonto.
It sounds like
Nyonto.
it sounds like it'd be more
Nyonto.
like a Japanese name.
Arigato Nyonto.
See? It definitely doesn't sound Italian.
I love me some Willie Nyonto. Shout out manlets everywhere. Short kings. He's a short king.
Shout out Rodrigo in this lineup, who Sam will never accept as just like solid.
He's just a king. He's a Budweiser king of the match.
To the game. I tell you what. Tottenham had a lot of possession early, but they really didn't look good with that possession.
No.
How about a little Aronson stringing together a little through ball action, dimes up Somerville, good strength on the play. Somerville slots it 1-0. Let's go.
Too easy. Beautiful
Crescencio.
slot.
Crescencio.
Really like the first chance of the game for Leeds
Yep.
after Tottenham had all the possession.
Tottenham respond with more possession, which is, I guess, is a bit more encouraging, but it was really just get to the end line and cross, and it wasn't doing a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
You guy Emerson Royale had an amazing shame.
That was amazing.
He might be the worst footballer of all time.
He's so bad.
Kane scores off the corner, but surely was a foul on Richarlison or Longley, but it was not called. It's honestly unbelievable.
It's ridiculous.
The amount of the drop off that is gonna happen for Tottenham next year, even if they kept the same team and stuff, just because shit like this is not likely to repeat and there's gonna be a regression, is insane to think about.
You would hope so, but I mean, they had stuff like this happen last year.
Yeah, not quite as much. This is blatant. I mean, how is that not called?
It is reaching new heights, and that was ridiculous.
The Kukare hair pull. This of
Yeah.
two guys literally barreling into the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it
I
makes
don't
no
get it.
sense. How you can?
I think
look at
wasn't
that
it Mike
VAR
Dean on
review.
this again? On this
It might
VAR?
have been. Yeah,
Mike Dean.
Mike Dean, Tottenham supporter.
Let's take a look into Mike Dean's history. So it's 1-1. Tottenham respond again with a quick Kulishevsky chance, but saved by Melier. I think this is just kind of sums up Tottenham as a club right here, right before half. Audibly, you hear a Tottenham fan yelling at whoever's taking the corner. I think it was Aronson. You're shit. That's why you play for Leeds.
Yeah.
And within the next 15 seconds, they concede a goal. This is why Tottenham are Tottenham, people.
Not only did they concede a goal, they conceded a goal to Lord Rodrigo.
That was a rip. A little left foot. I thought Lloris should have done better.
Oh,
Let me be honest.
100%. 100%. But Rodrigo, you can't stop him. I mean,
No, he's going to run around and do a crazy celebration. And
that shot was hit with the strength of 1,000 suns.
giving a goal to Rodrigo is like getting like Fortnite danced on in real life.
Yeah, pretty much. It just hurts.
Yeah. He's like, he might as well just like walk up to you right in your face and start like flossing or something.
The shame. The absolute shame.
So it goes in 2-1 leads at halftime. Second half, Tottenham come out, a little bit of possession, and they grab it. Davies with a goal after a Leeds goal line clearance. Goes out to Davies, and then who is it? Cooper, or who couldn't get off the line the second time?
It was kind of a mix of Christensen and Melier.
Christensen, yeah.
Definitely should have been blocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, really poor defense from Leeds just to fall asleep on the throw-in.
Greenwood, free kick chance, goes high for Leeds. Kulichevsky played through but could not get it on net. And then we have another big momentum play here. Tottenham turnover. Leeds grab the lead 3-2. It is your guy. It's Rodrigo.
Rodrigo not only scoring goals, but hitting some beautiful finishes as well. He's really just cementing himself as
Nice little play by
one of the
Roca,
top
too.
players in the world.
He's up there.
He's
up there. There's Haaland.
Top three.
You know, you got Haaland. You got Mbappe. But for me, it's Rodrigo.
It's Rodrigo.
Rodrigo Moreno. 3-2 leads, and at this point, I knew it was over for them.
Yeah, most definitely.
Tottenham, they swing balls in. Leeds can't clear. Little Betancourt rip, and it's deflected in between Luke Ayling's legs.
Right through the wickets.
Yeah, brutal. And then Kulichevsky and Kane combined for a great passing sequence. And Kulichevsky with a little run afterwards lays it out for Betancourt to tap it in. 4-3. Tottenham have it. Last big moment of the game. Tyler Adams, second yellow. Quite unfortunate way to go out into break, getting a red card.
Yeah, I don't know what he was thinking there.
Yeah, when you're a bit booked, brutal.
There's no way that's not going to be a yellow card.
I think we have to talk about this, and we're going to sound salty as Tottenham haters, but
Well, we are.
people right now are really, pardon my French, pecker cranking to Mr. Betancourt.
Dude, I know. It's ridiculous. People are saying, like, oh, he's been the player of the season.
Am I missing
Team of the
something here?
season.
Am I missing something here?
He's just, like, mediocre and happened to score 2 goals against Leeds.
He had a wide open tap, and Kulichevsky
Yeah,
did all the work.
Kulichevsky does all the work.
Yeah, it was a wide open tap. And then his first goal, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance it just goes off Ayling's leg and it's blocked because it's right at Luke Ayling.
Right.
So, I don't know. And people are talking about it too because the Liverpool game, he was running through Liverpool's midfield, and it's like, okay, let me see who's in Liverpool's midfield. Let's see the downfall of Liverpool, where their midfield ranks in terms of that.
Have you looked who they have in their midfield?
Oh, you ran past James Milner.
He's like 50 years old. You ran through a 50-year-old James Milner, a broccoli boy, Harvey Elliott,
yeah.
and Curtis Jones.
Yes.
Congratulations. And you scored a goal against Bournemouth.
I try to be positive about this. I don't see it with Betancourt. I saw last year he looked and this year he looks marginally better.
Tottenham are super lucky, and they're super lucky that they got Kulichevsky as well.
That
Game changer.
I mean, you can't say it because Kane's their best guy, but Kulichevsky's just a
Solid
notch
number
below.
2.
Just a notch below.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Brutal game for Leeds to end off before the World Cup.
Marsh, you had momentum, and then you do this and your team. The agent of chaos leads, they strike again.
Yeah, that's a tough one to sleep on for the next month. Next match of the week, West Ham versus Leicester.
Sam's Club of the future.
I don't want to say I was the prophet of Leicester, but I was. I saw the light when there was only dark.
I should have looked a little harder and said, wow, there's some really bad teams.
That too.
There's some really, really bad teams.
West Ham, Fabianski, Cresswell, Kurt the Cat Kicker, Zuma, Dawson, Kerge, Paqueta, Bowen, Benrahma, Suchek, Rice, Skamaka. Leicester top goalkeeper Danny Ward, Wout Faes.
That's all you have to name in this defense. That's all you really need. Those two. The other
Water
guys
covers
that
66% of the earth, and Danny Ward covers the rest.
Marte actually had a pretty decent game this game. I'll give him that.
Castagna, Luke Thomas, Harvey Barnes, Tielemans, Madison, Dewsbury Hall, Zumare.
It is me, Bubukari Sumare.
Sumare. Oui. All right. Early chance for Leicester. Tielemans' first shot of the game on target, easily saved by Fabianski. But then 5 minutes later, Leicester take the lead after some vintage Harvey Barnes play down the left. Finds Patson Daka. Rolls over to an open James Maddison. Just puts a little something on it.
Yeah.
Little filth.
That's James Maddison. Of course, he has to go off hurt in this game. Playing so well.
Yeah. Top form. Top player. Some stoppages. Zuma comes off injured. And on comes Agard, the guy they bought in the summer who's been hurt for a while. Leicester really started off the match well, though. Got the goal, 70% possession. West Ham kind of continuing the trend of sleeping through like the first
25 minutes
of the game.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing? They just don't like feel the need to have the ball at all.
Yeah.
They're just like, let me get this out of the way real quick. Here's the ball. Here's a turnover. We can't pass.
Pretty rough. Amarte had a chance, forcing Fabianski into a save. That was kind of weird. And then, like you said, James Maddison coming off injured. Tough one. I think people thought maybe it might have been worse than it was, but it seems like he's all right.
Yeah.
He was on the plane. He's in Qatar.
Yeah, too bad that the only way I would say that he should be dropped is if you guaranteed me that Harry Reid was taking his place. Then I would say yes.
Yes. The ultimate goal scorer / creator, Harry Reid.
Yeah.
Bring him on. Put him on the plane.
He's going to be the Fellaini of England where they just throw him up top in the 90th minute.
A real Swiss Army knife, so to say. West Ham finally got their first chance of the game. Benrahma got the ball in the box, shoots from close range.
He's been their only one making it happen in attack lately.
And West Ham fans hate him. But really, he's the only one doing anything.
Yeah, I feel like it's one of those things. It'd be like if Villa fans hated like Buendia and stuff because it's like so inconsistent. And when the flashes are there, you're like, wow, they're a good player. But then it's like it's not always there, and you're like, it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's no. Who else is even second on this team in creating chances right now? Bowen, I guess. He's not even doing that well.
Yeah.
So
hard to say.
Cresswell looked all right this game. He actually looked good, rather.
Yeah, nice save from Danny Ward. West Ham getting into the game. Paqueta had a couple of chances, but he did quite poorly with them. And then another chance for Paqueta. Cresswell with a nice cross into the box, but Paqueta's header went wide.
Yeah, they need something out of that guy. And like now.
Yeah, spent a lot of money on him.
Yeah.
35th minute, Suchek scores, but Bowen was offside initially, and the goal is ruled off. Another chance for Paqueta, long-range header forces Ward into making an important stop.
That was wild.
And then a penalty shout for Leicester on the break.
Yeah, a little Dawson on Daka action. Goes to VAR. Tielemans steps up.
And saved.
Oh. Oh.
Fabianski,
Yeah.
his 11th penalty save.
He's a legend.
He's like third all time.
Yeah, he's a legend. What do you want?
What a guy.
You sat here and you said he's not even good enough for Swansea City or West Ham. He should just be Arsenal's backup forever. And I said, Sam, he's better than that. He's better than that.
He's a true legend of the game. Goes into halftime 1-0. Second half, it was pretty uneventful from my eyes.
Yeah, I mean, West Ham, again, they did this the last, 3 weeks, too. They create chances off corners. Like, they have good chance. They'll win the headers and stuff, and then they don't take advantage of it. I don't know what they're doing. The West Ham looks slightly better, not enough, obviously. But Leicester back in the game for a stretch, but, West Ham able to kind of spread and beat Leicester to balls in the second half. But really, what it comes down to is the main event of the second half. West Ham pushing forward, one bad pass, one Iosi Perez dime, and one Harvey Barnes to make it 2.
Vintage Harvey Barnes. Thank you very much.
He's forever vintage.
He's like new wave retro.
Yep.
He's Harvey Barnes.
Finishes 2-0. Leicester finally bouncing back. West Ham not bouncing back whatsoever.
Yeah, West Ham, it's not
It's
going
dire.
great.
It's dire.
Fans are calling for David Moyes to be sacked.
Yeah.
I'm kind of split on that.
I'm surprised that they... I mean, this almost guarantees that Rice is sold in the summer. This is kind of your last go to throw stuff together and maybe get in the Champions League, but
Yeah.
no, unfortunately not. You only get so many cracks at it. Yeah, Moyes being sacked would be a bit strange, but his tactics right now, they're just playing so slow with the ball.
Yeah, I agree. It would feel harsh, but if you watch him play,
You're like, maybe not so much.
maybe not so much. I mean, they
Even with the black Umbro hat.
even with the black Umbro hat, the ball cap.
Yep.
I mean, they brought in the attacking talent, but it just hasn't got off the mark. And
No.
Jared Bowen hasn't been in the form that he was
Last year.
season. So, yeah. Leicester, good to get another win before the break. They probably wishing the break wasn't happening. They could just keep going.
Keep on rolling, baby.
They're in some good form. And James Madison, fantastic. Another goal.
Your guy.
Next match of the match week, Newcastle versus Chelsea. Highly anticipated
By a few.
to the lineups.
Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, Sven Botman, Fabian Schär, Dan Burn, Joe Willock, Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton, Chris Wood.
Chris Wood.
Yeah,
It's
no.
the Chris Wood era. Everyone's hurt. Chris Wood.
Yeah, he's not hurt.
Woohoo.
He's not hurt, but he's also not doing much. He got his goal to put Hans out of his misery.
He's the Kiwi Neil Maupay.
Yeah, well, Miguel Almiron. Player of the Year, Miguel Almiron.
Yes.
For Chelsea, Mendy, Chalobah, Koulibaly, Dave, Jorginho, Kovacic, Loftus-Cheek, Lewis Hall first start,
Get in.
Brozier, Mount, Gallagher. I like this lineup better than what
I like
Potter
it.
had been putting out lately.
I like it. What's the point in hauling out freaking Aubameyang?
Yeah,
There's no point.
that guy, yeah.
Havertz has been pretty bad.
Yeah,
Kukurea has been in bad form.
100%.
So, get some fresh faces in.
Yes,
You like this.
couldn't agree anymore. Tell you what, Chelsea had probably like 2 chances in the first half, and one came early.
Yeah, it was not much in terms of creating. Overall, it was
They
a
had-
bit more even than I expected.
Yeah, They had the one where Loftus-Cheek just somehow couldn't move to get on the end of the ball off that free kick, but
Yeah.
other than that,
And then he died and went off,
Yeah.
replaced by Thiago Silva.
I like the thing that no one's talking about with Potter. He's definitely shoring up the defense somewhat. He's making sure that, teams aren't going to be, thrashing us. But also, the attack has looked so bad that it's like, is it really worth it? Because, you saw with, Tuchel and stuff, it's like their defense is very leaky and their attack isn't that great, but they at least score goals once in a while. Potter's just saying, like, I'm going to shore up the defense, make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But the attack has just been so dire that it's because they don't have the numbers forward.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough, especially after that big defeat against Brighton. You're thinking, okay, we got to make some changes so that doesn't happen.
So Lewis Hall comes in.
Big
Lewis. So I call Lewis Hall up to the team.
And I like if your offense is so dire, then make some changes and give some other people some opportunities. I think Gallagher's been probably the most creative player.
He hasn't
Chelsea.
been great, but he has created the most big chances of anyone on Chelsea.
Yeah, it's kind of like the best of the worst.
Yeah, pretty much.
It goes into halftime, 0-0. There was a penalty appeal, but
I don't know. I thought that could have been.
You thought so? I thought
his hand was going on the ground, but it is relatively far away from his body.
It was.
You could have talked me into it.
But I think that's a natural position to support your body on the ground.
I would have had a Phil Jones diving header clearance, personally.
True, yes.
I would have been crawling on all fours. And
a true student of the game.
Yeah. Halftime 0-0. Pretty much all Newcastle minus one or two chances again for Chelsea. But Newcastle's attack in this game didn't look that great. You could tell they're missing Isak and Callum Wilson, unfortunately for Sam and the Chris Wood Kiwi army.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't as sharp as it has been, which somewhat surprised me, but it was also kind of like, last game before the World Cup.
Yeah.
You kind of expect some sort of drop-off from some players not kind of going full steam.
I'm telling you, Chelsea really, they look good defensively. Say what you want about them. They
Yeah,
at least
I
held
think
their form.
I think that's true. They did pretty well against Arsenal defensively.
Yeah.
As well.
I think that, and if you look back at Potter's teams defensively, with Webster Dunk, Veltman and those guys, they hold their shape pretty well. I think he feels like we have to have some, not necessarily solidarity at the back, but you know what I mean. It needs to be not just string cheese back there, or Swiss cheese rather.
It's got to be organized.
Yeah. The best chance for Chelsea fell to Gallagher, who curled it, and Nick Pope, that's why you pay for that man.
Mm-hmm.
Big time save.
Yeah. And just a couple minutes after Newcastle get the ball to Almiron on the flank, cuts inside, lays the ball off for Joey Willock. Hits a first-time shot past Mendy.
It almost looked like live that it was Almiron running, and then Willock literally just took it off him by walking into the shot.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game, Chelsea kind of, throwing the kitchen sink at Newcastle, getting guys forward and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Really relying on Sam's boy, Christian Pulisic, out there. To no avail, it finishes 1-0. Newcastle, top 4, going into the break.
What a team.
Chelsea in the doldrums, like I said before, down in 8th.
Yeah, they got some work to do.
They do. I think this year's sailed. I think their best bet is to offload as many guys as they can.
Yeah.
Of the non-young core pieces.
Yeah.
And just play young guys, and you finish 7th or 8th. Who cares?
I agree. I think, like you've mentioned previously, they just have kind of this weird amalgamation of 3 managers, players.
Yeah.
Now. And you got to figure out what your play style is going to be, what players you're going to have.
As strange as it is, I think that it might have been for the worst that Chelsea won the Champions League in terms of now. because it just created. It felt like they were on track when Sarri left and they offloaded a bunch of guys. It felt like they're going to start something with Lampard and kind of build that way.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, losing guys like Hazard and stuff, and then they immediately get rid of Lampard, get Tuchel in, win the Champions League, and then you start bringing in these guys that don't match, like James and Mount's timeline. You have like Lukaku coming in,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, and it's like, it's just weird.
Mm-hmm.
So Chelsea thought they were going to be in a banter era, and then they won the Champions League. They lucked into it, and now they're on the brink of being in a banter era.
They kind of traded off the long-term success for the short-term.
Which has been Chelsea's thing this whole time, but I mean, I guess you'd have to say, well, they made it count. They won the Champions League and a couple other cups, but it's like, I mean, now you just have to build. You don't really have a choice. You can't. Chelsea's old model of just hiring guys and bringing in, world-class players just doesn't work. And you know how you can tell, Sam? When's the last time Chelsea won the Premier League?
When they had Diego Costa.
Yeah, 2017 with Conte. Every year since then, I think they've been at least
Did they still
10.
have Diego Costa at that point?
They did, because it was the year after that they got rid of Costa and brought in Morata.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Every year, I think they've been off the top at least 8 points, if not double digits each year, and they're spending hundreds of millions of pounds. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly something is broken, and they need to. I think if you're looking at Chelsea's main objective during this break, it's not, figuring out what guys to play. I think it's get a sporting director, some management. I think they brought in a Brighton guy today or yesterday, but
Yeah.
get some guys in the board so though you can start evaluating talent for the summer and next year, because Mr. Agent Todd Bowley signing guys is not.
Yeah.
That's
Put a
gonna be
stop to
bad.
that.
That's gonna be bad.
Yeah, and it just feels like right now it's kind of a collection of individuals rather than a team.
100%.
Speaking of teams, Hank's
Wolverhampton
favorite team,
Wanderers.
Wolves. Great cohesion.
This game, when I went back to watch it the other night, normally I watch 2 games a night, and this one I could only watch one because I watched this right away, and I was like, I don't even want to watch Premier League after.
I don't blame you.
I hate this team.
Yeah.
The lineups: Sa, Collins, Semedo, Kilman, Totti, Hugo Bueno, Boubacar Traore, Ruben Neves, João Moutinho. You didn't go to the strikers. Guedes, Adama Traore. For Arsenal, Ramsdale, White, Gabriel, Saliba, Zinchenko, Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, Saka, Jesus, Martinelli. This Wolves trying to pass out of the back in this game was a 10 out of 10 on the obscene scale. What was going through their minds when they thought
They've
this?
reached peak insanity.
Yeah, clearly. Lopetegui's been there for how long, and he's just going. He's doing The Shining, where he's just typing the same sentence over and over. He's sitting at his computer the whole day. Ruben Neves out of the back. Although it's got to be better than whoever they had there before, who had Ruben Neves at like center back. Whatever that guy's name was.
Arsenal weren't looking very impressive in the first half.
Yeah, their attack really was, Wolves kind of felt real compact, but
Yeah.
Arsenal's attack still, it just didn't feel fast. They couldn't really get that head of steam. It was more, we talked about how Leicester's either really, really, really slow or they're just counterattacking really fast, and that's kind of how Arsenal are. It was just the really, really, really slow, and there's a lot of side to side, nothing direct. If it was direct, it was just not on
Yeah.
the player's foot or head.
Yeah. They got forced into an early substitution as Granit Xhaka had a not so good tummy ache that he
Yeah.
had to be subbed off.
Yeah, how about that? Your guy, Mr. Vieira, coming on.
Wolves, I mean, they looked okay, like hitting on the counter, of course, until it comes to the final part where
The shooting.
where they try and score.
Guedes had a really nice one that just fizzed over the bar. That was
Yeah.
an absolute rip.
Yeah.
But other than that, nothing.
Finally getting him a little more integrated into the team. I thought
Are you
Hugo.
sure they shouldn't have Diego Costa over?
That's like playing Aubameyang, but on like steroids. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Oh, just terrible.
That is football terrorism.
There's football heritage and there's football terrorism.
Yeah. I thought Hugo Bueno looked pretty good first half.
Yeah, he makes us smile.
He's Bueno. But it goes into halftime, 0-0. Second half, Arsenal finally start clicking a little more.
Yeah, this was the half of Martin Odegaard.
Yes, Lord Martin Odegaard, hallowed be thy name. Thy Real Madrid had sold. Thy captain
That will be
come.
bought for £30 million.
What a bargain.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zidane.
He got the first goal in the 54th minute.
Set up by Mr. Porto, Fabio Vieira.
Yeah, nice run to the end line from Fabio Vieira. Just get that little ball across. That's all you really got to do. Odegaard, nice run into the box, finish it off for the 1-0. Yeah, Arsenal looked much better in this half. Got the second goal, 75th minute, again from Martin Odegaard.
Mm-hmm.
And Wolves couldn't really respond.
No, their attack in the second half was it wasn't bad, but it wasn't good,
Yeah.
to say the least.
So ends the interim period of Wolves. Now they finally have a manager.
Yes.
And
Big ups.
maybe things will change.
I think so. If you had to say who you felt better about staying up, Wolves or Southampton, who would you say? I would probably go Wolves just because Lopetegui's actually like a really good manager.
Yeah, I think that's fair because he's more of like an established manager than Nathan Jones. But I think both kind of have this similar position where they're at. They're in poor form, but they have some good talent in their squad.
Yes. They just need to realize how they can exploit that talent and their strengths more so than how teams are exploiting their weaknesses right now.
Yeah, they need to get Guedes cooking on some goals. Mateus as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe stop playing Adama Traore.
No, they love him. His crossing's really good. They have a lot of tall guys that he can cross to.
Yeah. I mean, their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not as... We knew it'd take a step back this year, especially you sell Connor Cody, which was idiotic. But, it's a younger team in defense, so a little more leeway there. And Saw just not being as good this year. I still have faith in their defense being all right.
Yeah.
It just comes down to that attack, and if they can get Guedes more involved, Mateus when he comes back, we'll see.
Yeah.
Why'd you click on this game? Oh, what the heck? I thought you clicked on because you hovered over Bournemouth Everton. I thought you clicked on that. I was like, why'd you click on that?
Again, to the Sunday matches, Brighton versus Aston Villa.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For Brighton, Sanchez, Dunk, Levi Colwell,
Chelsea's very own.
Pascal Gross, Estupinan, March McAllister, Trossard, Lallana, Caicedo, and Danny Welbeck.
Welbs.
Aston Villa, Emi Martinez, Cash, Konsa, Mings, Digne, Douglas, Louise, McGinn, Jacob Ramsey, Kamara, Danny Ings, and Buendia.
How about that?
Watkins, injured, I think. Injured or sick.
Yeah.
Something. Unable to play in this match. But it doesn't matter because Danny Ings.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Danny Ings. But not before Brighton scored within the first minute. McAllister mugging Douglas Luiz.
Arsenal's own Douglas Luiz.
Off the ball. It was reminiscent of when Arsenal were first trying to play out of the back under Unai Emery.
Yeah.
And just awful.
Yep.
Just awful.
It's an acquired style. It's an acquired taste. And if you don't have...
It's not my taste.
Yeah, well, what can you do? McAllister, yeah, he had a real good game this game. He's been lining up, potentially starting for Argentina.
Except for the second goal, but we don't talk about that. Yeah, Villa had some better play. Buendia threw ball to McGinn, splits the defense. Dunk goes for the tackle, commits the foul in the box, and gives away a penalty. Danny Ings steps up, converts the pen.
Yes.
Not a whole lot going on.
No.
First half.
No, but feels good when Danny Ings is out there scoring. That's all I care about.
Yeah. He should have been the whole time.
No, not for Stevie G.
Everton should have just went all in on Danny Ings.
I don't think you would have had to do that much.
Yeah.
I think 10.
They would have sold him under Stevie G, probably.
10, maybe 8.
Yeah.
Probably 8 to 12 is the range. Yeah, no, and instead you have Neil Maupay.
Yeah.
So.
The anti-striker.
Could you imagine Danny Ings, Liverpool legend, going back to Merseyside to play for the blue side? Oh, couldn't do it. Couldn't stomach
great.
it.
The Rafa Benitez. Goes into halftime 1-1. Second half, Matty Cash.
Ings should just have played for a bunch of teams. I just want to touch on this real quick. Imagine if he went to a different team every year and he's on Burnley, Liverpool, Southampton, Villa, Everton.
The real journeyman.
Yeah, he's just on 90% of the teams.
That'd be great. Matty Cash had a nice run and then crossed to Buendia. And his headed effort hit off the post.
Mm-hmm.
And then just
right after that, second goal of the game for Aston Villa, almost identical to the first goal, except reversed, where McAllister got caught out in possession by Douglas Luiz, and then Danny Ings scored off a deflected shot. How could this happen to me?
It's funny how those things happen. Sometimes it's just identical.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah,
After that, there was a lot of fouls.
Yeah, I felt like Brighton had a real hard time in this one, getting guys like Trossard involved, given how they've been playing.
Yeah, I expected them to play a little better, and I didn't quite expect Villa to play as good as they did.
Wow. You say that about Unai Emery.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Yeah.
Well, now you get a good evening dropped on you as they win 2-1 at the Amex.
Villa, they're rolling.
They're officially rolling. 2-0.
Watch out for Villa coming out of that winter break.
Yeah.
They could be one of the teams.
Yeah, you never know. All it takes
Them
is to
and
get
Wolves.
hot. Wolves, I don't know about.
The Midlands are back, baby.
They've always been back. Last game. Fulham Man U. This game was very frustrating to me personally.
Why is that?
To the lineups. Bernd Leno, Tim Ream, Bobby D. Cordova-Reid, Issa Diop, Anthony Robinson, Ari Wilson, Tom Canny.
I finally learned how to spell it.
Congratulations.
I thought it was with a K.
And Andreas Pereira, Willian, you know how to spell that, Joao Paulinho, and your guy, Carlos Vinicius. Is he on West Ham too? Or just Tottenham?
Why is he?
We need to look this up right now. Not Carlos Correa. How did he not get in the Brazil squad? Are you kidding me? Click on his Wikipedia. No.
He was on loan at PSV.
Wow. How about that? And Monaco. All right, well, back to the game.
Yeah.
I swear he was on West Ham. Did we do United's lineups? We didn't do their lineups. Okay. De Gea, Lindelof, Lissandro Martinez, Malacia, Shaw, Fernandes, Rashford, Eriksson, Casemiro, Alanga, Martial, and Sam's guy Nathan Bishop on the bench.
Nathan Bishop Martin Dubravka.
Please save us.
I forgot
Where's
Martin
Airy?
Dubravka was on United.
Where's Airy at? Come on.
Where's Donny van de Beek and Zidane Iqbal?
Who is
From
Iqbal?
Iraq.
Wow.
He's from.
To the game. Fulham did not have much going in this besides Paulinho winning a bunch of tackles.
He was winning tackles.
He was
for
winning,
sure.
yeah.
That's for sure. It was fairly even to start. Just both teams kind of feeling out the game. I'm getting just harassed out here. But yeah, the first chance, 14 minutes in, Christian Eriksen gets his first goal in the Manchester United colours after a counterattack, and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. The shots. The
shots.
deflected shots.
Yeah.
They had to bust it out. They had to break out all the stops against Fulham.
It was a pretty ugly goal, let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
De Gea made a nice save on Wilson. Harry Wilson, young Harry Wilson, from distance. It was kind of a weird save. Like, he wasn't really expecting the shot, but made the save nonetheless. And then chance for Martial gets through Leno's legs, but he did enough to stop it from going over the line. Kind of almost dribbled through.
Yes.
Before halftime, Martial had a header go just over and goes into halftime 1-0 to Manchester United. But I thought overall, Fulham were, hard to say better.
No, I wouldn't say
But it
better.
was more like United were kind of disappointing.
Yeah, it was about equal, and you felt United should have done more. The second half was completely different. Fulham were taking it to United, especially early.
Yeah.
They were playing a whole lot faster. With that said, Man U started off with a counterattack chance, and Rashford could not put away Anthony Martial's rebound. Rashford back on. He may never score again.
He
Watch.
can't score. That was a big chance.
Yes. But then Vinicius, big chance, little stop, turn, pop shot. De Gea, big save. And then Tim reamed the save on that corner. What a header.
Yeah,
But De Gea
the close range header.
answers. And then Dan James revenge game.
Oh, made me so happy.
Ensues. Fulham counter. Kearney to James. Running in the middle of the box. James just slots it. Easy as you like. Little back post tap in.
Yeah, hard to miss that one.
Yeah.
But you love
It's
to see it.
1-1.
The man who gets no respect, Dan James. He made 76 appearances for Manchester United.
Yeah. The announcer said the club that made him famous or something like that. I was like, I wouldn't say that.
No,
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think so.
I don't think anyone truly knows Dan James that well.
Yeah, maybe not even Dan James.
That's deep.
Paulinho had a bike attempt
Yeah.
that was saved.
He's a wild guy.
Yeah, he just likes to fling his body at places. And then Manchester United pushing for the late winner, and they get it in the 90 plus 3 minutes. Garnacho,
The worst teeth you'll ever see in your life.
substituted on, gets the ball down the wing, plays a nice 1-2 with Christian Eriksen, and then is played in behind, and he gets his shot past Bernd Leno, takes the jersey off, holds it like Messi.
He loves the club.
He is Garnacho, number 49. They'll put that number in the rafters at the Theater of Dreams.
Unbelievable. They did it.
That's brutal for Fulham.
Yeah, you thought, no Mitrovic. You can grind out a draw. That'd be a good result. Probably 3 out of 10 games they win this one. Say probably like 5 out of 10 games, United win it and then some draws in there. But
Fulham wins it 5 times. United wins it 5 times.
and then there's also some draw
And there's
capabilities.
5 draws,
Yeah.
all in 10 games.
Yep. And you say, how does that work? The math checks out. What can you say?
It's like Dan James. No one quite understands.
Exactly. 2-1, big win for United. at Fulham. Fulham, great first half of the year, way better than anyone thought. Kind of down note to go in on, losing on a 90th minute goal. As far as United go, they keep their top 4 hopes alive. They're hanging out in 5th right now. Very strange. Last year they were in 5th at this time, and it was all doom and gloom. Now this year they're in 5th, and it's, yes!
That's what I was thinking, too.
Let's go!
It's like, not much is different, but I guess the morale has changed.
Yeah.
There's a little more optimism.
Should we talk about Ronaldo real quick before we go?
Dude, Ronaldo wants Arsenal to win the title. Let's go.
I didn't really watch much of the actual interview. I just saw some of the quotes and stuff, but I don't know. Can you really blame him? That club is run quite poorly.
I think it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, they try and push him out, and then they get upset when he just does the expose.
It's weird that they try to push him out, but they wouldn't sell him in the summer.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know what he'll do? Sit on the bench. It's like, you know what he won't do? Sit on the bench. He's Cristiano Ronaldo. What were you thinking?
Yeah, he's not going to be happy.
That's a horrible idea. That's like the Lakers in like 2 years trying to like make LeBron James a sixth man. Like, what are you doing? You can't do that. That's not going to work.
I just love this new Ronaldo.
I do too. It's a great arc.
Everyone hates him. I love it.
I know. That's what I was saying a few weeks back when I was like, it reminds me of A-Rod when like everyone completely hated this guy, even Yankees fans.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? I like this guy.
I mean,
So I'm feeling with Ronaldo right now. Everyone hates this guy. I like him.
I was already on Team Ronaldo, and then he comes out and says he wants Arsenal to win the league. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
That's why he's the GOAT.
This doesn't even feel real. Like that seems like
That's so funny.
it seems fake that someone would
Everyone's
actually
pulling-
say that.
That's what sucks. Even as a Chelsea fan, I'm pulling for Arsenal
Yeah.
to win the league. And I'm not gonna say anything. We won't jinx anything, but
Just give us
you
a
say?
trophy now.
yeah,
16
everyone
weeks, call
wants
off
us.
the season.
Everyone wants it.
Call off the season. We don't need 22 more games.
Well, that's it for the first portion of the Premier League season. I think what we shall do is we will be talking about the World Cup. We'll have a preview pod coming out right before the World Cup. And as it goes on, I think what we'll do is we'll do a little half and half. We'll do half kind of World Cup recap, and we'll end up doing where teams stand right now in the Premier League. Take each episode, we'll probably take like 4 or 5 teams, and we'll go through each team, and then you know what? Before you know it, the Premier League will be right back.
I'll be back.
Boxing Day.
England will be World Cup champions,
Very well could be.
and who knows what'll happen in the next month.
Yes.
There's probably some wild things that are bound to happen.
Yep.
Just from the World Cup hasn't even started, and there's some wacky things going on.
The fans in Qatar being like sent from a bunch of Middle Eastern countries is so
Yeah,
awesome.
it's
That's so awesome.
Did you see Giroud was like, I didn't know we had so many Indian fans. Now I feel the weight of 1 billion people on our shoulders.
That's so funny.
Great quote.
That's so funny. Did you see the clip of they're breaking down groups on like it's like the English pundits were breaking down groups, and Gary Neville's like, well, Saudi Arabia, they're gonna have 10,000 fans there. They're gonna have a lot of fans, and it's really important. And then Keane turns to him. He's like, are they gonna play? Are they gonna play? Is it gonna be 10,000 v 11?
10,000 v 11. Put them on the field.
I don't know what to expect with this. This is gonna be. It's gonna be more strange, I think, than COVID. Because I mean, you'll see teams in like the Europa League and stuff have like stadium bans and stuff like that because their ultras were crazy or something. So even when COVID happened, it wasn't like that crazy for soccer. This is just going to be weird because it's going to be like fans there, but they're paid to be there. They're not actual supporters. They probably don't watch the sport, but they're paid via food and like $10 a day.
No, they
cheer.
they pulled that back.
They pulled the $10 back. It's just food.
They said, "Hey, we'll send you there, and we'll give you like an allowance per day." And then they're like, "No, we'll just send you there. No allowance. They're just the ultimate rug pull. they're like, oh yeah, you can have beer in the stadium. Then they're like,
No, you actually
nah,
can't.
no beer.
Yeah.
No beer.
That's so great.
Qatar.
Of course, middle of the year too, rather than the summer. It's such a stupid tournament. Someone's gonna win this Mickey Mouse tournament, and no one's gonna count it for 'em.
That's why England's gonna win.
And everyone's gonna be like, "Yeah,
It doesn't
okay.
count."
Yeah, exactly. That was some bull.
Well, that episode's coming soon. TM. Soon.
Perhaps tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. World Cup starts Sunday. Let's go.
Let's ride. Let's ride.
England nation, let's ride.
England.